Dr. Mike Timko is a 1993 graduate of Lorain Admiral King. Mike began his academic career at Lorain at Lakeview Elementary, Hawthorne Academy before attending Admiral King High School. During high school, Mike was a participant on the tennis team and the academic challenge team that were both coached by Paul Falensky. He also fondly recalls being a part of the school musical Hello, Dolly. Academically, he was a National Merit semifinalist, the class salutatorian, and attended the Ohio State University. Mike received a BS in Chemical Engineering from the Ohio State and an MS and PhD in Chemical Engineering from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He also trained as a postdoctoral student in the lab of Nobel laureate Dudley Hirschbeck at Harvard University. Following college, Mike's training and career focused on sustainable engineering, with an emphasis on sustainable chemical and energy technologies. Dr. Timko has published over 80 peer-reviewed papers and been cited more than 2,300 times. Dr. Timko has achieved countless awards for his efforts in chemical engineering, but of note are his 2015 National Science Foundation Career Award and the 2019 Fulbright Award that will enable him to spend 3 months in France learning to develop a device he can use in his research on biofuels. He currently resides in Arlington, Massachusetts with his wife Audrey and 4 daughters. He is also an associate professor of chemical engineering at Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Please welcome Dr. Mike Timko to the Lorain Alumni Association Academic Hall of Fame.
I'm really not sure if there's anything left to say after our last talk there. I'm also painfully aware that I do believe I'm the last person between you and the rest of your day, including lunch, as Henry reminded us at the beginning. So I'll keep things relatively short. Also, I'm an engineer, not a writer or these sorts of things, although basically all I do these days is write, but I write for other engineers, not for ordinary folks. That's actually self-deprecating, not in you guys. We're the ones that aren't ordinary. So I'd like to thank a few folks. First of all, the people that are here with me today. As our speakers have said, it starts at home. And my mom and brother, my dad who's not with us, raised me with love, and also with an example of how to live your life and to put school really high. My mom was a teacher for many years. My dad was a dentist. Some of you know him. In fact, our table mate was a patient of his for many years. And then also my aunt and uncle, Nita and Hector, are here. They're the first people I thought of. The first people that took me to Puerto Rico, which I've now been to many times, and opened up a different part of the world, we'll say. But I think also the thing I want to talk about mostly is the influence of Lorain City Schools on my life. And as a graduate of the Ohio State University, I think of Woody Hayes, and you win with people. Most people know that quote. So, the schools are what they are, but the schools are the people. And so the people I want to remember are some of the influential teachers I had over the years. And it was really hard, actually, to pare it down. And Henry said, it's 5 minutes. And I said, I'm a college professor. I can't say anything in 5 minutes. And he said, it's got to be 5. And I've seen people go a little over, maybe, but I'll try to keep it 5. So it's roughly chronological. The first one is, and probably many of you know some of these names. Probably nobody, except for maybe Henry, knows all of them, because we were contemporaries, roughly. Or maybe Houston Love, Brian's family. He was 1 year ahead of me at Hawthorne and then at Admiral King. But the first was Bill Molina, 7th grade biology at Hawthorne. Amazing. So, a consistent theme, these are 4 of the hardest teachers I had. So they all had really high standards. But they also provided a framework for us to succeed, and they just expected us to do well. And Bill Molina was the person who really lit in my heart an understanding and thoughtfulness towards the environment. And he did that by having us read, some of you know, Rachel Carson's book, A Silent Spring, which was about the problems in the 60s, 70s, using pesticides and the havoc it was wreaking in the environment, especially on wildlife, and especially birds. And I read that. That's not an easy book to read when you're, I guess, 13 years old or maybe 14. And so I didn't understand all of it, but I understood the main thesis, and that was that we had done some bad things. And so that was something that stuck with me, and everything I do now, I have to say, goes back to that. So it's really woven into me, as one of our previous speakers said. There's something special in the water down where I come from. So going along then, the next one would be Carmen Colon, who taught Spanish. Actually, I had her 3 times at Admiral King, sophomore, junior, and senior year. I also went with her to Puerto Rico. And something that she did, and probably there was something in me too, right, that it just resonated with, was trying to communicate with people in their own language as much as possible, and whether that language be Spanish or French, where we'll be able to spend some time as a family, or even more subtle than that, their own dialect, and trying to reach people where they are. And that's something that stuck with me. And then next along is my junior year was Lenore Markin, English teacher. What she did, well, she had us read a lot of books, of course, and that aroused a great love of literature. But the thing that really stuck with me and has influenced who I am is she had us write our first research paper. And so we had to go out, primary sources, cite them, all of these things. And as was said in the introduction, I've now written 80 papers, but that was the first one. That was the first one, junior year Markin's class. And then the last one is bittersweet. It's Bill Kipp. Had him 3 times, sophomore, junior, senior year, chemistry at Admiral King. And it's bittersweet because he died young, actually. If there's one previous teacher I would go back to and shake his hand, it would be him. And he taught chemistry, and I never had chemistry before, and it was hard. And I remember he used to sit us in the order of your score on the exam. And I remember Henry often up in the front. I'm just saying, though. I tried to stay in the back. In that class, undoubtedly the hardest class I had at high school, but it just resonated with me somehow, and it lit in me, what I studied then for the rest of my life, and now I teach it. So now when I go out and teach, there's thermodynamics, different aspects of chemical engineering. It wouldn't have happened without Bill Kipp. I probably would have been programmed more towards English and history and things of that sort, which was the example my brother gave me, and nothing wrong with that. Of course, there's always the outcome bias. I'm happy. I'm very happy with where I am, and I've been able to make some contributions, and so I'm really remember Bill Kipp fondly for those reasons. But then those are 4 teachers, and I could have picked 10 more. But really the other aspect, though, right, is the classmates, the students. And the students around me, including Henry, including Brian the year ahead of me, I think Lorain's really special in how we treat each other, the diversity, even just in this room, in the road I've walked, okay, when I look out into a room, I don't see this diversity very often. I'm going to be honest, and I do not like that, and I'm not comfortable in that, because the people that were my classmates and my teachers, my family, just taught me that success lies in diversity. There's strength in our differences. In the end, the common denominators are much deeper, but we all bring our own thing. We all have a different perspective. I learned that all the time in research, because in research you can get focused on your solution, you think it's right, but somebody else can come in, even more junior to you, and have a different perspective and change everything. It happens all the time, okay? And that's something I learned here. So, this is a day of celebration, which is an amazing thing to say, a year after. We've had a lot of loss, but I really appreciate the opportunity to celebrate what we have to look forward to. Thank you.